listening to Rise of the Empire with Anthony Lucero.
Welcome back for the fourth installment of Rise of the Empire. I'm Anthony Lucero, and we're just days away from Broken Dreams. And I'll tell you, this show looks to be extra exciting. We're going to be discussing the matches here in a bit. Other news echoing the halls of EPW is the ongoing saga of the position of commissioner. We're going to be speaking with the current EPW commissioner, Christopher Samuel Dean, as well as the ever-controversial CM Burnham. He's going to be joining us as well. The Chickasaw Wolf, Neshoba, is also going to join us and talk about his upcoming match at Broken Dreams on February 17th. And we heard a response to Guy Sterling's offer from Ray Leon. Plus a whole lot more, so put on your seatbelt. Today is going to be a good one.
Dreams. We all dream. We have desires. We have aspirations. But what happens when those dreams get shattered?
Empire Pro Wrestling presents Broken Dreams. Saturday, February 17th at 6 p.m. at Southern Oaks Recreation Center, 6818 South Walker Avenue in Oklahoma City.
E-Bone and Tyler Watts versus Adrian Vega and Martin Justice for the CAPW Tag Team Championship. Ozzie Hendricks versus Wolf of War in a chairs match. Jack Talos versus Leo Fox versus Badger James for the AIWF American Championship. Gemini and Shadow Gemini versus the Psychotic Messengers versus Black Flag Rising versus the Saints of Pro Wrestling for the EPW Tag Team Championship. Jason Simon faces Trench Blythe. Ray Leon faces Tago for the EPW Heavyweight Championship. Malik Mayfield versus Romeo Reese versus The Gatekeeper versus Neshoba versus Mitch Onyx versus Dominic Whiteheart versus Rick Russo versus Duncan Kincaid versus Tommy Too Good versus Red James to determine the number one contender for the EPW All-American Championship.
Tickets are just $12. Get them at the door or on the link on the Empire Pro Wrestling Facebook page. Empire Pro Wrestling presents Broken Dreams. Saturday, February 17th at 6 p.m. Southern Oaks Recreation Center. Find out whose dreams will become nightmares.
You're listening to Rise of the Empire with Anthony Lucero.
For decades now, authority figures in professional wrestling have garnered similar crowd reactions. Old people like me will remember hearing Gorilla Monsoon being very critical of Jack Tunney. You might also remember the sleazy antics of Eric Bischoff when he was running Monday Night Raw or WCW Nitro. Or how about the cult-like leadership of Paul Heyman at the original ECW? And we can go on and on and on about this. EPW is no different. Commissioner Christopher Samuel Dean is definitely controversial at times, but is he furthering his own agenda, or is he doing what he feels is best for the company? Whether you like him, love him, or hate him, one thing's for sure, you cannot ignore him. All right, we're on the telephone with EPW Commissioner Christopher Samuel Dean. Commissioner, thank you for spending some time with me on getting some more information out about some questions I have.
Not a problem.
So the first question I have is, what is the official decision with John Claude's actions regarding his attack on referee Martin Justice? Is John Claude going to be punished, fined? What's going to happen?
Well, Jean-Claude attacked one of my referees, and you just don't do that. I have explained this as much. If you remember correctly, I'm doing to Jean-Claude the same thing I did to the Saints of Pro Wrestling at Harvest Heatwave. I have suspended Jean-Claude, and he will not be performing at Broken Dreams on the 17th of February.
How long is his suspension for, and what other details can he share?
He is suspended for the whole month of February, and that's as far as I can go into that.
What are your plans to deal with Black Flag Rising? They've been kind of running amok around here.
They have been running amok, and as far as I'm concerned with Black Flag Rising, it's going to be natural selection against the Messengers. with the natural selection, I'm just going to let Black Flag Rising and the Messengers fight it out.
Just let nature take its course. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Next question. There's been a lot of controversy around E-Bone. There's no question there. And I understand that E-Bone's people have been working with you on trying to find a loophole in his release from the promotion. But it seems that you're allowing E-Bone to participate in the upcoming CAPW match in an EPW ring, where, as far as I understand, E-Bone has not been reinstated with EPW. Why are we allowing this?
E-Bone's not EPW. E-Bone was challenged by Vega and Martin Justice for the CAPW championships. And because E-Bone is CAPW, I'm going to allow it.
So just a question then, if, let's say, Jean-Claude or a few months ago, the Saints had come in representing a different promotion while they were suspended, you would have allowed them to perform as well?
That's an entirely different situation, because they both, those two individuals, that group and that individual attacked the referee and attacked on-air talent after a match. So, no.
Commissioner, nothing personal, but it almost sounds like preferential treatment. We'll move on. What is the latest information on your re-election to remain EPW Commissioner?
The latest information is it's up in the air. I mean, my whole reasoning for staying commissioner, being re-elected, is the fact that I'm always there. I'm there for the fans. I'm there for the talent. I'm there for the people. CM Burnham's not always there. Guy Sterling's not always there. Those two individuals, and for that matter, Lucien and Junior Wind, they're there for their groups. They're there for their people. They're there to manage their groups and their talent. They're not there looking to progress EPW to the next level. I don't have anybody I'm managing. I don't have any stake in anything except for the fans. I'm trying to give the fans the matches that the fans want to see. I'm trying to give the fans the best experience that they want. I'm trying to give the fans the best product. I could not care who the champion is as long as the champion is there night after night, working and being the workhorse and holding the company up and giving the fans great matches and just being there. I can't say that CM Burnham wasn't a good commissioner in the other promotions that he was a commissioner of, because he was. He has the talent to be a good commissioner, but he's never here. And when he is here, he's always trying to get his talent over. He's always trying to get his talent in high-profile matches. He's there for one reason and one reason only, and that's to win gold for his talent. Same for Guy. Same for Lucien. I don't have any talent I manage. I'm not a manager. I'm the commissioner of EPW. My job is to look out for the entire roster, not just a few individuals.
All right, Commissioner, we want to thank you very much for joining us. Before I let you go, is there anything you want to say in closing?
Just anybody wants to come out to the show, Southern Oaks Rec Center, Saturday, February 17th, 6 o'clock bell time.
There you go, folks. Come on out, and the Commissioner looks forward to seeing you himself personally at Broken Dreams.
Thank you.
Neshoba faces a mysterious and violent opponent at Broken Dreams, and we'll be talking to him about that right after this.
Dreams. We all dream. We have desires. We have aspirations. But what happens when those dreams get shattered?
Empire Pro Wrestling presents Broken Dreams. Saturday, February 17th at 6 p.m. at Southern Oaks Recreation Center, 6818 South Walker Avenue in Oklahoma City.
E-Bone and Tyler Watts versus Adrian Vega and Martin Justice for the CAPW Tag Team Championship. Ozzie Hendricks versus Wolf of War in a chairs match. Jack Talos versus Leo Fox versus Badger James for the AIWF American Championship. Gemini and Shadow Gemini versus the Psychotic Messengers versus Black Flag Rising versus the Saints of Pro Wrestling for the EPW Tag Team Championship. Jason Simon faces Trench Blythe. Ray Leon faces Tago for the EPW Heavyweight Championship. Malik Mayfield versus Romeo Reese versus The Gatekeeper versus Neshoba versus Mitch Onyx versus Dominic Whiteheart versus Rick Russo versus Duncan Kincaid versus Tommy Too Good versus Red James to determine the number one contender for the EPW All-American Championship.
Tickets are just $12. Get them at the door or on the link on the Empire Pro Wrestling Facebook page. Empire Pro Wrestling presents Broken Dreams. Saturday, February 17th at 6 p.m. Southern Oaks Recreation Center. Find out whose dreams will become nightmares.
You're listening to Rise of the Empire with Anthony Lucero.
Neshoba is always a colorful personality to watch in the ring and can bring the crowd to life. There's no doubt about that. This month, he faces a dangerous, dangerous man in The Gatekeeper. So we're on the telephone right now with Neshoba. Neshoba, welcome to the show. Glad to have you here with us.
Thank you very much.
So tell me, on February 17th, Broken Dreams, I understand you're facing The Gatekeeper. What can you tell me?
That is correct, and I actually know quite a bit about the Gatekeeper, so I understand that it can be, let's say, quite difficult to beat him, but to be honest, I feel like I have the ability to do so, and I'm not worried about it whatsoever.
You know, Gatekeeper looks pretty intimidating, and what do you think your strategy is going to be to face him? I mean, you sound confident, but tell me a little more.
I mean, sure, he can be intimidating. I can give him that, but that's nothing new to me as well. So, like, me being my Native American heritage, I always go into battle prepared. I put on my war paint to get myself ready, and his methods are so much different than mine. So I feel like we can think alike on most things.
Now, speaking of war paint, I did notice on Facebook you put up a video where you are applying your war paint. Do you think that's going to let people know some of your secrets of how you get hyped up, or is it just to show people how you prepare?
A little bit of both. It's one of the main things that gets me ready. It gets me revved up for combat, gets me ready for war, and I just figured people would like to see that kind of stuff.
Well, it did look pretty cool, and I kind of thought it was neat that you would put something like that up there. All right, Neshoba, before I let you go, is there anything else you want to say about Broken Dreams?
I'll go ahead and say that this will be my first match at Empire in a while, because I'm officially making a transition to CAPW, and I am on CAPW's roster full board now. Really?
I was unaware of that.
Absolutely.
Well, that'll be interesting to see how that plays out as well. All right, Neshoba, well, thanks very much for spending some time with us, and we will see you on the 17th.
Well, thank you very much. I'll see you then.
You know, a good question I should have asked Christopher Samuel Dean earlier is, how many more EPW talents is he going to allow to just waltz over to CAPW? You know, this is getting ridiculous. The EPW Heavyweight Champion Tigo Sika will be battling Ray Leon, a hard-hitting man with a very impressive win-loss record. So impressive that even though he's from a different promotion, he's going to be competing for the EPW Heavyweight Championship in his debut match. In our last episode, Guy Sterling made an offer to Ray. Roll the tape.
Ray, if you're listening to this, how about instead of a match, how about you just come over to Sterling Inc.? I consider you a top prospect, a number one agent to be signed. I mean, I think we could actually do better business together if you join me. Maybe we can work something out. But if we cannot, and I don't want to have to do this to you, because if you go in there against Montego and you go up against Sterling Inc., it's not going to be good to you. And this career of potential, this illustrious career, and you do have you're the now. Like, I would say bright future. You're living it now, but it will be cut short. If you want to cross paths with Tego, if you want to challenge Tego, Ray, please, instead of ruining what could be a much more profitable career, Ray, give me a call.
Ray responded with a very intense video of him working out and made a somewhat clear response to Sterling without uttering a word. But since that video was released, more happened, and Ray told me about it in a voice message. Roll the tape.
EPW fans, Anthony, what's good? I mean, what's really good? So y'all, last week, Guy Sterling sent me a contract in the mail with an offer and an opportunity to join Sterling Incorporated. And first off, I want to say that is really creepy that Guy got my contact information and he knows exactly where I live. I don't really put that kind of stuff out there, but it is what it is. And two, listen, the numbers that were on that contract and the zeros that preceded those numbers, oh boy, hey, that was a tempting offer. But you know what, Anthony, I apologize, but I feel like I'd be doing the fans a disservice by answering Guy Sterling here on the podcast. But I got a better idea. How about this Saturday, February 17th at the Southern Oaks Recreation Center? Guy Sterling, Montego Sica, I give you an answer you'll never forget, live in the center of that ring.
I don't foresee any hip tosses or wrist locks in this bout, just some hard-hitting strikes and violence. I think the question becomes not who wins, but who survives. That's at Broken Dreams, February 17th. A man who feels he's best for the future of EPW, CM Burnham, joined us next to explain what makes him the premier candidate for the commissioner's office. That's coming up after this.
Dreams. We all dream. We have desires. We have aspirations. But what happens when those dreams get shattered?
Empire Pro Wrestling presents Broken Dreams. Saturday, February 17th at 6 p.m. at Southern Oaks Recreation Center, 6818 South Walker Avenue in Oklahoma City.
E-Bone and Tyler Watts versus Adrian Vega and Martin Justice for the CAPW Tag Team Championship. Ozzie Hendricks versus Wolf of War in a chairs match. Jack Talos versus Leo Fox versus Badger James for the AIWF American Championship. Gemini and Shadow Gemini versus the Psychotic Messengers versus Black Flag Rising versus the Saints of Pro Wrestling for the EPW Tag Team Championship. Jason Simon faces Trench Blythe. Ray Leon faces Tego for the EPW Heavyweight Championship. Malik Mayfield versus Romeo Reese versus The Gatekeeper versus Neshoba versus Mitch Onyx versus Dominic Whiteheart versus Rick Russo versus Duncan Kincaid versus Tommy Too Good versus Red James to determine the number one contender for the EPW All-American Championship.
Tickets are just $12. Get them at the door or on the link on the Empire Pro Wrestling Facebook page. Empire Pro Wrestling presents Broken Dreams. Saturday, February 17th at 6 p.m. Southern Oaks Recreation Center. Find out whose dreams will become nightmares.
You're listening to Rise of the Empire with Anthony Lucero.
We've seen him interfere, we've seen him distract, we've seen him win at any cost, and we've even seen him betray his own son. But CM Burnham says he's still the best choice for EPW Commissioner. I spoke to him the other day on the phone. All right, so we're on the phone with CM Burnham, who is jockeying for position to become the new Commissioner of EPW. Burnham, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much, and I certainly believe that when this decision is made, that if the correct decision is made, then obviously I will end up in the position of being commissioner, and we will see a brand new landscape for EPW. There's a lot of things that I would like to address, a lot of things that I would like to fix that I see. I just don't see EPW heading in exactly the right direction.
Well, what would you say to those who would disagree? Because attendance is up and the crowds are following us from venue to venue, growing as we go.
In that respect, I don't have an argument with what's going on. I'm certainly appreciative of the fact that the fans find the action that we present every month to be top quality action, and they are willing to show up for it. I'm more concerned with things that the fans don't see. I'm more concerned with the abuse of power that I see Mr. Christopher Samuel Dean exhibiting in his current position when there's clear, obvious favoritism and bias on his part. And looking at the scope of people, as I kind of pointed out at the last event, none of them have the experience that I have when it comes to running professional wrestling companies. I have been commissioner in multiple companies across this state. My record speaks for itself. I have done either by myself or with a partner whatever I can to make those companies thrive, and they do. And I am still commissioner at a couple of different companies around this state. So I understand the demands of the job, and I think I understand them better than anybody. How many of those other people have any commissioner experience outside of Mr. Dean? I know that Lucian Lovelace is commissioner for some weird thing in Texas. I mean, it's Texas. There's all kinds of weird stuff down there.
Doesn't J.R. Wind have experience?
He had some level of hand, but he wasn't like a full-fledged commissioner. He barely could hold things together, and the company he was with is gone. I mean, it's self-destructive. Guy Sterling is only concerned about Guy Sterling. Lucian is concerned about his wardrobe, and Christopher Samuel Dean is a man who cannot be trusted. So I think if the fans look at this scope, they're going to see the best choice is me. I bring the experience, I bring the knowledge. There is literally nobody who is more connected in Oklahoma wrestling than myself.
Earlier in this show, I interviewed Christopher Samuel Dean, and I'm going to present to you something that he and I discussed, and let me get your input. You will probably recall when the Saints were suspended for attacking officials.
Yes.
And you no doubt been advised that Jean-Claude has been suspended for attacking Martin this past show.
Yes.
So why is Christopher Samuel Dean, do you think, allowing E-Bone to participate? I mean, he's been suspended too. He's been terminated from the promotion, but he is going to be competing in an EPW ring representing a different promotion this month. What are your thoughts? And what would you do different?
Right there is exactly part of the problem. I feel like Christopher Samuel Dean is attempting to form some sort of collusion with this other promotion, which they're brand new. I don't know too much about them beyond their initials. And if he's distracted in this way, then he can't focus on what's best for EPW. I don't understand this particular choice. On the surface, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but I suspect, like has been shown in other circumstances with Mr. Dean, that there is some sort of behind-the-scenes agreement, some sort of collusion, some sort of exchange that's happened, and apparently E-Bone has presented to Mr. Dean whatever he feels is necessary in order to get back into the good graces of management.
All right, we're on the phone with CM Burnham. Burnham, before we let you go, is there anything else you want to tell the people about why you should be selected as the new commissioner?
I want the people to understand that, yes, I have made a lot of mistakes in my careers, that I certainly have not been the most adored individual in the Oklahoma City area, and I'm comfortable with that. But when it comes to being a person in position of authority for a wrestling company, all my personal feelings will be put aside. I'm going to do what's right for the company. I'm going to do what's right for the business. If that means that I have to come down harsh on my own family members, I'm willing to do that. I think we both see that. If it means I have to come down harsh on people that I once considered friends, I'm willing to do that. I'm not going to let everything that's been built and all the goodwill that has been built for this company go up in smoke simply because I want to springboard myself from this position into something higher. I'm looking out for the best interests of the company, and I bring the experience to make that happen.
You have to ask yourself, is Burnham better than Dean? Both are controversial in their own right. Perhaps a different man, a man like J.R. Wynn, who we just discussed, could be an alternative.
This is something for my people.
All right, so we're on the telephone with J.R. Wynn. J.R., welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you. Thank you, sir.
All right, so let's talk first about the position of commissioner here at EPW. Not a lot of people may know you or too familiar with your work, but I understand you do have some experience with being a commissioner. So what makes you the right choice?
I think what makes me the right choice is that I could take EP to different areas that no one's even dreamed of doing it. I can go from city to the reservation, to any reservation at that. I have that kind of power wherever I go.
So do you think we'd be drawing the record-setting crowds we have over the last couple of months at these other venues you're talking about?
I think we would beat the records that EPW has right now. I have no doubt about it. Everyone wants to see brand new stuff and not the same old stuff like so-called commissioner does. We'll see different matches and different styles. That's what I could bring to y'all.
Let's talk about CAPW now, because it's kind of interesting that you're looking at being the commissioner of EPW, but you seem to be a figurehead of sorts of CAPW, which is a rival promotion. How can you run them both?
I don't think it'd be a problem. I mean, you try to incorporate both companies, bring different matches, different rivalries. It's easy to build upon. You want to bring something new. That's what I think what fans of EPW deserve, new rivalries and new alliances at that, too.
Tyler Watts on this very show told me that CAPW's mission is to destroy EPW. What say you?
That's the long-term goal. I mean, pretty soon, that's where we're just starting right now, just taking over and showing people that what we're going to bring, and pretty soon just take everyone from EPW. Everyone's going to forget who they are. We're going to bring a whole new brand of era of wrestling coming in. So we're going to start. That's how we're going to start. We're going to just start over with drowning out EPW and showing the real fans what real wrestling looks like now.
You're saying you want to take EPW to new heights, but then when we're talking about CAPW, you're talking about killing us.
I mean, that's how it works. You got to go from inside to outside. So you try to bring new stuff in, and you take out the old. And that's not how they want to do it. Then that's how companies work. You want to take out the old and bring in new. So why not let me become commissioner? You're going to show people what we could do. Towards the end, CAPW is going to be the one that takes us the long-term goal.
Coming up at Broken Dreams on February 17th, you got your men going to be, I guess, defending or winner take all. I don't even know how you wanted to call it, but for the CAPW Tag Team Championship. Martin Justice and Adrian Vega seem pretty confident they're going to take the straps.
There's all confidence when you have an old man who probably don't even need to be in there. You want to show them that the new guys are coming in to take over. And unfortunately for Adrian, he put his nose in where it shouldn't have been. And so that's what the power we're going to be showing to all those EPW faithful losers, that we're here to bring a change in, and we're going to start without definitely take out the old, as in Martin, and all the fan favorites who think, I don't know why people think people like Adrian in the first place, but that's what we're coming in for, just to show that we're going to be the new standard of wrestling and not the old time and the ones who like just to pick their nose in places they shouldn't be.
We're talking to J.R. Wynn. J.R., again, I want to thank you for joining us here. Before I let you go, do you have anything else you want to say to the people?
I also think I'm the right choice. Become the commissioner. I can't even think of the y'all so-called commissioner name is. He don't make a name for himself too well. But I'm here to help bring in the new in. We're here for a change. So that's why I bring in to everybody and make us more than just Oklahoma City. Take it beyond the city to the whole state of Oklahoma and beyond.
Well, that's it for this edition of Rise of the Empire. I'm your host, Anthony Lucero, and we're going to see you at the Southern Oaks Recreation Center February 17th. Get your tickets on the EPW Facebook page, and we'll see you there.